Crypto market right now shows interesting data if we are looking at the right side of it. Bitcoin towards dollar gives you the clear understanding that if we put them on the same time horizon and look at the movement, when dollar was going up, Bitcoin was going down. Now dollar is starting to trend lower. What do you think is going to happen? Most likely this asset is going to go higher. So what do you think the retracement level will be for Bitcoin? Possibilities are still open, but the reality that we understand the fact that this is a historical, now like we are going all the way back to like 2017 to see this level. This has been a massive support resistance zone for dollar. Now we are testing that from the downside. So we have higher odds that dollar would get rejected by 105. And that would mean Bitcoin and crypto market is going to have a great rally. Now, yes, we are watching news like this, which does not make any sense. Literally, like this guy's not even using emails or any kind of technology-based, information-based anything. They are not even touching that. But that's not the reality. This is the FUD coming into the market. Whereas on the other side, where they really should focus on is this, but they don't actually give you that perspective. They put out the reports, but not much in talking. Now, we all understand XRP has some dynamics playing out, and this whole video from Mr. Haber kind of shows you a clear perspective about the escrow. Now, that's something to actually keep in mind, because now we got the understanding that anything sold in the secondary market is not a security. We kind of got that idea from the previous case of library. If that is followed through, then that means the eyes are on the escrow. So the supply reduction for XRP is going to play a big role. Now, most of you are here looking at what we can anticipate in the price action for the crypto market. Because when we talked about this possibility here that we may bounce back, and we did actually go back up to 24,500, close to 24,600, and then came back, and I told there is a possible area where we are going to make a double bottom. And right now it seems like, okay, we actually put in and we did bounce a bit, but we didn't get the follow through here. But right now, if you are on a short-term chart, what you're observing is the real fight between the sellers and the buyers. But when we look at this on the positive side, to understand what really is happening, we also get the clear understanding and narrative that this support resistance has broken to the upside. Now that was symmetrical, getting a break to the upside is important. Welcome to the scientific investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Now, this is ultra short-term chart. We all know that, fine. But what's important for us here is knowing the level of resistance and support, which is kind of a little bit easy to see. But it's also important to see how the patterns are being formed, how the bulls are active on an hourly chart towards a 4-hour and then on the daily. This kind of gives you a clear understanding of whether the market is trying something bullish or not. Right now, you cannot deny the fact that we had one bullish pattern and then you came back, made a double bottom, and you're bouncing back up, which is, what we saw in the short-term horizon. Fine. Now, yes, we do understand that on a daily, this is what we are observing right now. We came towards a support range. Now we are trying to bounce off. Now, why would I say that? When you zoom in, what you're observing in the market is actually clear. The price came down and in the drop was like 2.4% on that particular day, and we bounced back up. So in dollar terms, when you're bouncing back up, you need to understand that was like 2.3% move. Now that's not a huge movement considering Bitcoin can actually do things like this on a daily, right? We are looking at this narrative. If we actually manage to close this current candle about 24,184, this is going to be interesting because now that's another engulfing candle suggesting you that we are going bullish. Then your closest resistance is going to be 24,278. So you don't really have too much room between that level. So if the price is moving higher, Then now we are going to look at the volume, right? We need to actually see how things are evolving. If you're looking at the volume, it's too low in the green. But look at the price action. That's what's interesting. Because when you're not getting too much of volume and you're still getting candle pushing through this level, which kind of gives you an idea of if that candle is able to close even at the current level with this volume, it kind of suggests to you that when you had a higher level of volume here, but this small kind of candle, buying volume came in, but sellers were still strong. But right now, it doesn't feel so. You had volume here in sell, but what happened? They did not push the price down and they were not able to close it down. So that was invalidated. Whereas with a little bit of buying volume, now you are moving back higher. So the buyer strength is comparatively higher in the market here, which is actually interesting. Now we actually see for XRP that the fundamentals are actually getting so slowly, it's actually increasing, meaning how people are looking at SEC has completely changed. How they are going to look at this particular case has completely changed over the years. Does that make a huge difference? Fundamentally, for the case in particular inside code, not much, but the way this information is flowing towards the court and the court is watching this. When they are going to make a final decision, we'll see how things are going to evolve. But for the time being, if we are looking at XRP, I can completely agree with you on one thing. It is not really interesting. We are actually watching a boring movement here. If you actually go on a weekly chart for XRP, one thing is actually for sure, we all will agree on this point. We focused on this range. The price is still there. We didn't move up. But if you take a step in and at least see what's happening, you actually got a double bottom which broke to the upside and the price went up. Fine. Now that's on that shorter horizon. Now when you're looking at the macro, you can agree that we are forming something like this where the neckline happens to be the support resistance zone, which gives us a better understanding that if we are able to come up here and break that level, now which is not a huge price action to be fair for XRP, will actually be able to rally. And this level of resistance, now, this is one of the reasons why I actually use log scale chart, because if I'm removing that log scale, literally I'm not getting that level of resistance. So when I go back into the log level, I can actually see that. Fine. Now, here, if we manage to break this level of resistance, this is now becoming so interesting. But right now, we haven't done that yet. However, on the weekly, we'll all agree again on the same point. You made a double bottom here again, and now you made a local high here, which is a higher high compared to this one, and then a local low, which is a higher low compared to this one. So you're trying to put in a new structure on weekly, which is good. But what's depressing is that the fact that XRP did not manage to break these two red weekly candles with these two green weekly candles. Now, what am I comparing with? If you actually go on to Bitcoin, for that matter, and look at what Bitcoin did during the same time horizon, this is how it actually looks like. You kind of erased these 2 weeks of bearishness or corrective action with one weekly candle. So the momentum is up, bulls are stronger on the weekly horizon. So one thing to note is that the price is still holding about this level, which is, really something interesting to watch, like 23,700, the weekly, we are still above that, which is good. But then you also have this level, which is holding you as a resistance. So we are in a tight range. So this level is showing you a grand resistance. And then here a support. Once we get a breakthrough this level, now this is not a big zone here, right? We are talking about a small tight range. So if we break this, that means we get a direction. If we are breaking to the downside, look for the support 21,500. If we are breaking to the upside, now we are talking about $29,000, $30,000 per Bitcoin. Now for Bitcoin, the all-time highs is like 70, close to that. So you're not talking about a 10x. Literally, this is, however, opening the door for the altcoins to burst. Right now, in the market, you see a lot of varying information coming in and some of the coins trying to push higher. Now we are in the trades of some of these, and we are actually looking at how the market is evolving. And when we observe all this, like we call the breakout calls, how things are actually evolving, right? Once you see Bitcoin moving through this level, breaking about 24,500, 24,600, this is going to be dramatic in altcoins. Now, one of the primary things we have to keep in mind, say if we are using this as a thought process for the entire crypto market or just the altcoin side of it, altcoins did close the week a little bit stronger than Bitcoin. Yes, XRP didn't actually follow that, which is a bad thing. While watching the market, if you actually feel like, okay, some information about the market, real information about where these are breaking higher would be helpful, then look for this. This actually kind of helps. At least for me, when I look at this, I'm like, okay, that's proper analysis. Say this one hit our target. You needed some patience. It did take a month, but it did reward you if you wait to wait. Now, while you wait, if you know your targets, your supports, this kind of helps. And if that's something you are looking at, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. The market as a whole, the altcoin section as a whole, did that. Now, if we are looking at the resistance, this is that level of resistance which we broke through. Now, that's acting as a support, which is again bullish. The closest level is this. So again, we are following that. But we do have a little bit more support here, whereas Bitcoin didn't have that. So you literally had room to run all the way up. But remember, if we extend this, that is the level of support, which is this resistance. So Bitcoin has some more room to run to the upside. So what we are going to observe here during that time when Bitcoin break higher, there's a lot of small to medium caps bursting. Micro caps don't even talk. They're going to burst through with some hype, some news, some speculation. All of them will be a part of it. But when you're on a weekly chart, the narrative is so easy to look at. You just count like 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles, which is followed by 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles. But the movement to the downside for these 4 candles is like 10% to the downside. After which the next one comes up and does a 30% to the upside, which kind of neutralizes the negative and adds 17% to it. So if you are looking at the momentum, something changed here. You will still see people giving you targets like 10,000, 12,000, 15,000. That's a different story in the market, which we'll have to understand. But here you get the idea that you dropped 60% to the downside and the bounce was like 40. So you were not neutralizing this in any manner. Great. Then again, after that, you dropped in price from this level to this level, which is 37%. And the bounce you got was like, so bad, right? Whereas something changed just after that, as we discussed. This is going to evaluate in a way that we'll be able to make profit, because when the market actually evolves from that low to the all-time high, people would go in FOMOing, and you really don't want to do that, because on the pattern side, if you're a pattern trader, you're looking for the pattern and you're like, okay, this is a bullish pattern that broke to the upside. We're kind of doing the retest. Once we confirm that, we get a continuation pattern which breaks to the upside and go up. So you can literally double here in the altcoin market, but the difference would be you wouldn't actually see all the coins doubling in value during that time. Instead, what you'll see is a set of coins running way harder, because you are literally observing these coins here, in which we are in trade of most of that first 5, first 6. We are already in the trade for them. Oh yeah, the way we are observing the market is like, okay, now it's slowly starting to trend higher. And when you are entering an asset, you want to make sure that you enter in an asset which is starting to trend higher, so that you get a piece of that. Meaning, if the altcoin market is actually going to do that in next 2-3 months as we anticipated, it should be helpful for you. Otherwise, there is no meaning in staying in the market right now, because the market is so volatile and it really doesn't give you an advantage over a lot of other players in the market. So if you are actually thinking about trading in the market, look for proper support levels, proper resistance levels. Don't buy at the resistance. Try avoiding that. Now, sometimes this can happen. Say you actually observe that the level is being broken. You came here, you bought in, what happened? The price got way down. Now that's actually a painful event because at that time now you're going back to the support where you are down. You didn't expect that. Now if you are a short-term trader, heavy leverage, 10, 50, 100,000x, you are liquidated or you put your stop loss and move out. Now if you do that with proper risk tolerance, now you're not losing. What you're doing is just waiting through this and let the price break through to the upside. Now, one of the signals which the market actually gives, showing you I'm going to bounce back, is something like this. You need to keep an eye whether the market is showing you that or not. Because for me and my eyes, I do feel the market is suggesting us something similar. So once we get a breakthrough about the moving average, we will turn bullish. Now, on a daily, this is actually a little bit more important. The price is way above the moving average, so once we get a green day close is going to be important. Getting a follow through about this candle is going to be important. So once you are here in the market, make sure you understand what the price action is suggesting you. Don't go against it. If the macro trend is to the upside, don't try to short the market. If the macro trend is to the downside, now you manage your risk properly or you get kicked out from the market. Now, if that information is clear and you're looking at the market and saying like, yeah, I'm fine, I actually got that, then guys, hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. And if you're looking for further updates about the market, for calls, my buys, my sells, where we are making profits and posting it, just watching the profit doesn't help a lot, right? Whereas if you get the proper buy, if you get the proper information of where to buy, when to sell, all that idea, and you learn from that, now you have an edge over the market. So if you're looking for something like that, look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So that's it for today, guys. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye-bye.